So welcome back, everyone. We got another newbie here with me, and I have with me now Dina Young, and she's the owner of Staying Alive LLC. First question always is, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Awesome, thanks for having me. I've been teaching CPR and first aid for about 16 years, but opened up my own business 12 and a half years ago. So
Wow.
super excited about that. Got into it out of necessity. Tried to keep my own son breathing was part of the deal. Before I opened my business, my neighbor had treated me to a couple of massive heart attacks, and there were some other issues. So a lot of learning involved, a lot of training, and here I am.
So most everybody really should be learning CPR, right?
Amen.
And I want to talk about this because let me just tell you something. You know, first of all, babysitters, anybody that's a babysitter, anybody who is a grandparent that brings their children around, you know, we don't think always about things that can happen. So it's so important. I want you to talk about the classes that you offer, because we're going to open up the lines again so that people can get entered into win. Somebody gets to get entered into win a CPR class. Let me tell you something, that is the gift of a lifetime.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Life-saving gift. It's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, CPR and first aid, of course, are the mainstay for the business. But I teach some other interesting classes. I have BLS, which is medical provider CPR, as well as I teach a babysitter training, pet first aid, because there is no 911 system for our pets, our fur babies. And then I have a wilderness first aid class, and I do have one of those coming up next month, so I'm super excited. But that's a 2-day class.
So I want to talk about you. You say you're valley-wide. You go to them and let's talk about that.
It's a mobile service, so absolutely, I come to businesses.
That's awesome.
Yep, businesses, families, groups like scouts, anyone that needs training. If you get a little group together or a big group, I can handle it.
I'm going to talk about her for a minute. I see some things that she has here. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau, and in 2023, she's a winner of East Valley Favorites. She works valley-wide. She comes to you as a mobile service to you, and we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered into win. We've got these things for what we were doing before and now, but right now it is it's a first aid class, right, of their choice.
Yep.
So, and you're getting entered in to win that, and our number here is 602-277-5369. Check her out on her website. It's stayingalivelllc.com. You can also call her, write the number down, because you never know when you're going to need this service, 480-205-0350. And there's a lot of businesses, you can come into them as well.
Absolutely. Doctor's offices, dental offices, they have to be trained, of course. There's some OSHA requirements. If they don't have an on-site trainer themselves, I can come in and help with that. I'm trying to think, daycares. I've been doing a lot of daycares lately. So.
Well, babysitters, let me just tell you, you could right there, you could charge more money. You know?
Oh, absolutely. They get a certification card.
Right, and I got to talk about, I got to go back to this in diverse for a second, because you mentioned the fact that you do pets as well.
Absolutely. Have a class on Sunday. There's about 2 spots left. But yes, there's no 911 system for our fur babies. And so if you are a pet owner or have a pet business like a groomer or a doggy daycare, you have extra responsibility to those animals for that what if moment, you know.
What about just a parent just wants to take
pet
care
parents,
of it?
absolutely.
Right.
If you own a pet, please consider this.
Let me ask you, do you have a quick little story that you could tell anybody on like a pet, that how does it work, first of all? Is it sort of the same or not the same?
Sort of. I mean, they have a heart and they have lungs and they have blood and they have bones and things just like we do, but the anatomy is different and behaviors are different. So that's a lot of what we talk about in the class.
So a dog is choking.
Yeah, it's a little bit different process because their body works a little bit differently, but the concept is the same. You have to relieve the obstruction, absolutely.
And then what happens if they they weren't breathing?
Then we have to do CPR just like we would on a human. Again, it's different because of how everything is positioned, but it's the same concept, absolutely.
And you can learn that. You can learn and have some peace of mind, especially we have children that come in the pools and even the animals, they go into the pools too.
Absolutely.
But the fact is that what you offer is for people to be able to save a life. You said that you had to save your son's life.
Well, I had to keep him breathing. Thank God I never had to do CPR on him, but we were so close so many times. Before he was a year and a half, he was in intensive care because of breathing problems and turns out immune disorder, but we didn't know at the time. You know, my neighbor, heart attacks, you just don't know when that stuff's gonna happen.
Oh my God, it's a great time to be coming on. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and I'm sorry.
It's heart attack season right now.
Is it heart attack season?
Between now and the end of the year.
Because you gotta be with your family, you know, but also because somebody can choke on a turkey bone. We know this happens, that's why I said it. But she mentioned it, so I said you gotta be with your family, so a heart attack season. I
Stress.
didn't know that they're stress. Yeah, a lot of people with stress right now for sure. And especially just with the days are flying by, that's
Yeah.
stressful in itself. So you can call her direct. She's mobile, she comes to you, she's valley-wide. Her phone number is 480-205-0350. You can check her out on her website, stayingaliveLLC.com. She's a 2023 winner of East Valley Favorites, and then of course she's rated with the Better Business Bureau as well. What I love is that you come to them. Does it matter how many people in a class? How does that work?
I ask for 5 or more.
Okay.
And it just, you know, money, gas,
Right.
stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, it doesn't have to be a huge group, although I can accommodate larger groups. It depends on the space. I have done rather large groups, and we bring other instructors in as well so that everybody gets the appropriate amount of
Yeah.
attention.
I want you to understand, obviously, this has to be done hands-on,
Absolutely.
right? You cannot do this Zoom. I'm sorry.
Well, if the equipment's shipped, you can. That is actually an option.
But I would want to get in there and be
Yes.
able to feel and know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Because you got to really
No,
know.
but we ship equipment.
Okay.
So if we're gonna do similar to Zoom, we can ship the equipment to you so that you still have the hands-on piece. There has to be a hands-on piece to
Right,
this.
absolutely. Now, when they're done with the class, what do they get?
They get a certification, and most of the certifications are they're valid for 2 years. It's industry standard. The only one that's not would be bloodborne pathogens, which I did not mention, but that is a thing. It's every year.
I want to also talk about why people can't get a CPR certification just online.
Well, they can, but it's
And
not.
don't. That's
Yeah,
not
please
right.
don't. I've had plenty of students come to me after taking an online course, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you know, I just did this." I'm like, "Well, why are you here?" "Well, because I did it online." Well, that's why. You don't retain the information until you do the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So working on the mannequins and practicing the skills is essential.
How long is a class, and what does that look like?
It depends on which class. The CPR and first aid, which is the most popular, is usually 3 to 4 hours long. Depends. Again, I do also offer blended learning, which is part online, part in person. So they still get that in-person component. The in-person portion for that's about an hour. Pet first aid class is about the same, 4 to 5 hours. We do have a longer version. That one's 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours. I do have a bunch of people staying for the long version on Sunday, so I'm super excited about that. The wilderness first aid, I said it was 2 days, so it's 16 to 18 hours.
Well, just think about it, folks. I mean, I know that if I have a significant other and we're older, I want to make sure I can save that person's life, God forbid,
Yeah.
right? Something's going on. Our babies, have more and more people who are taking care of the young ones.
Mhm.
You know, now grandparents are they're taking care of the young ones, and you know what? Anything can happen at any time. Also, our fur babies. She also has
Yeah.
those. What other kind of classes do you offer?
So the BLS, the medical provider class, that's a fun one. The babysitter class comes up several times a year, of course, mostly for groups. They get like Girl Scouts or whatever they want.
It's
to
great
come
for
out.
you guys to do
It's
that.
fabulous.
Mhm.
Actually, I love seeing boys in that class. It's so fun. It's
You
so
see,
fun.
but boys should be learning this too. This is not like it's for girls only, folks. Let me just say
No, and
that.
some kids are left home with siblings, and they need to know about this. I've had parents who've sat on the side of the class and listened to the class, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Didn't even think about that." I hear that so many times.
Now, she's valley-wide. She's rated with the Better Business Bureau. 2023 winner, East Valley Favorites. And you can call in here and you can get entered in to win. Everyone's getting entered in to win a CPR class of your choice. And our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. When you're doing a group and when you have people get together, do you do a consultation with them? What does that look like?
Sometimes it's just a phone call. I often will ask questions. What is the need? You know, it was fun. Instead of a baby shower, I had a family that had me come out and teach CPR to everybody. That was super awesome. But I'll ask, I get questions all the time, or they're like, I just need a CPR class, I'm like, for what? And that always makes, I just had it the other day, turns out she's a nursing student, so just the basic CPR wasn't gonna apply, she needed something else.
So I do wanna talk about, these are kind of funny, so what are some wives' tales you hear and do they work?
Oh my gosh, so
Hurry.
butter on a burn, no. Toothpaste
Oh,
on
yeah,
a burn,
no.
no. There's a whole bunch for burns that I'm like, no.
What about this one? How can you stand teaching the same thing over and over? She asked me to ask that, folks.
I've been asked this by others, and how do you do it? Because the students are different, and the reason I teach is because of the people, the
But I
students.
think with the passion that you have, you've been doing this for 12 and a half years, the passion that you have for saving people's lives,
People.
but teaching people how to do that. You never know when something like this can happen right in front of you. You just never know. It would be best for you to obviously have that certification. I believe everybody, especially here in Arizona, you know, we all have these pools, and it's just every year we hear it over and over and over again. But right now you got families getting together, it can happen. You got the stress, she said right now it's heart attack season. That's great to know. Again, we can call her direct. Her number is 480-205-0350. Her website is stayingalive.llc.com. Call me here, get entered to win a class, a CPR class, 602-277-5369.